Good evening, my loves. Good evening, my loves. This is Spiritually Savage, and I am sending you so much love and peace of mind and abundance of all kinds, whatever your heart desires. That is my wish for you. It's 11:22 in the PM on this beautiful, clear Sunday evening. The moon is making its appearance in my window, and so I greet it. How do you do? Hello, my loves. I hope you are well. I hope you are well. And the reason why I say I hope you are well is because I remember a time when I was not well. I will always greet you that I hope you are well. I really do. I really do. I remember what it was like not to be well, but still on a program to act like everything is well. But I recognize that I was also just peeping the scene in my asleep awareness. That's what I liken the state I was in. I was aware, but I was still asleep. And you may be too. And that's okay. You will probably slowly awaken and take your time with it. Don't be like me. If you watched any of my other videos, I thank you. But don't be like me. Let me be the cautionary tale for you right now, okay? And it's only cautionary because I did not know. Understand, overstand, and understand. Of course, hindsight 2020, always, it will always be that way. If we knew then what we know now, we would always, 9 times out of 10, do things differently if given the opportunity. Because that's when we know better, we do better, right? But you have to give yourself some compassion. And I am learning this lesson now, even as sometimes I feel like I'm backsliding, as the Christians would say, or I'm falling off, as the children would say. But as an adult who has lived, almost a half a century, I'd have to say that it is basically a learning curve. And what do I mean by that? Do you remember when you was in school and the teacher gave a test and like the majority of the class got low grades on it? There may have been like 1 to 3 people who actually aced the test or whatever, but the majority of the class did not do so well or failed it. And so the teacher gave a curve to that grade, right? And so everybody got a certain amount of extra points to boost their grade, some sort of, curve. So it didn't seem, instead of us relearning what we should have learned in order to pass the test, they gave a learning curve, okay? And so that's kind of like what life is to a certain extent. That's what I liken grace to be. Because even though we may be enacting out, and if you are under black magic, and if you were under black magic and you're coming out of it now, and you're thinking about some of the things that you did that was just brought to your awareness, and some of the things that you said, and you're like, that wasn't me though. You're right, it wasn't you, but yet you still have to be held accountable for those actions, right? Yes, because we all have free will. Okay. Yes, it definitely is unfair when someone is throwing black magic at you and you weren't even a part of that realm. You're just probably like me and just now discovering that black magic does exist and how it has actually affected your life and the people around you, right? So I say all that to say there has to be some sort of compassion for yourself as you go through learning about what your triggers are and what prompts you to enact out bad behaviors, what we consider to be bad behaviors, but really they're preconditioned tendencies that were embedded in you from when you were a child, okay? intentionally, okay? It was done intentionally. That may be hard for some to even gather in their thought process, that how is that possible? But I believe as the time goes on, um, you see the government is already releasing certain papers like about mind control and things like that, right? They're already doing that because I believe something is coming. I'm not quite sure. I don't know, but like a big revealing of some sorts. And I'm not talking about the extraordinary beings, that everybody's talking about now. I'm not talking about that either. I just feel like something else, and I don't know what it is. Or maybe it's not even something for the public. Maybe it's just something for myself. And maybe it's just something for you to know. But when we do find out what it is, it will be up to us to discern whether or not it is meant for public consumption or if it was meant just for our mind, body, and souls alone. And that is another thing that I am just now understanding, overstanding, and understanding, because I talk a lot. And I've always talked a lot. And it was always because I was encouraging and just, excited and happy, like literally. And I still am happy. And that's one thing I've been like, not, I prayed even when I was going through the darkest days that God not changed the way I am. And I know I'm changed. And I know that part of me has changed in some sort of extent. But it's still there. And now I'm just trying to find a balance of being aware and still being who I am at the core of me before I found out all this stuff about how the world really works and how people really operate, and that heaven and hell exist on the same plane, and that you can embody both those energies at the same time. And it's okay because we are here to learn duality in everything. And so I'm learning how to make friends with my monsters under the bed. Y'all remember Monsters Inc.? And I remember saying that I didn't want to ever be like my mom. And I likened smoking to be like her. Oh, that was a revelation I just had. I do, though. And this is no shade, this is just an observation, because she's smoked my whole life. She has. But I also know I was judgmental on her as well, and not understanding, overstanding, or even understanding who she was as a human being, who she was as a person, what trials and tribulations she went through in her life. What did she have to overcome? What were the battles that she had to fight? I know a little bit of it. I know she was a product of domestic violence. I was a witness to it, so I know that much. What that would have done to her psyche as a person, you understand, overstand? Was a person, and I've come to grips with, because it was my dad. It was my actual biological father. And I had to forgive him for that, because what it did for me to even witness that. You understand? You have to understand in order to enter or overstand. So that's why there's no shade. It's just me having compassion for the woman that birthed me and gave me life, and knowing that her walk in this place was not easy. Was not easy by a long shot. Not easy at all. And so I do have compassion for her. In this 3D, in this matrix, I do not allow her, though, to disrespect me or belittle me, or to take anything away from me, or to deny me my truth by acting as if it did not exist. That is a form of gaslighting. Okay? Your truth is your truth, no matter who wants to deny it. It does exist, even if it only exists for you and you know it to be true. Just know that I am here to tell you that what you feel, what you witnessed, what you noticed, what you felt, it has validation. And you have to be strong within yourself to stand up for what you know to be true. And I am learning that too. I'm learning a lot. Listen, I'm new to this journey still. I don't know when I would be considered myself not an expert, but moderate, because I'm a novice now, so moderately knowledgeable. I do not feel that. Not at all. I don't feel that. I feel like I'm still a baby doe. I'm still getting my spiritual legs. I see things now. Like, I see. However, for me to be able to explain them, it's like I'm not even there yet. And you may be feeling the same exact thing as well. And that's okay. I'm not here to be like everything is okay, because if you look at my other videos, they weren't okay. I've just come to the realization and the understanding that because I am not in control, and as long as I am obedient, what I am experiencing is okay. It's okay. And I've said before that I'd rather make mistakes in private and let God correct me than to get out there and to be thinking I know everything. Because if y'all see my other videos, I was like, I know now, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I just wrote about it. Like, I remember when I was just asking God to just save me. Y'all seen it in the videos. There were times when I was just like, I just want to go. And I'm so glad I didn't, though. I am really so glad that I didn't. I'm so glad that I did not go at the time, because I was still very confused. And I was still watching tarot. And tarot is a good thing, but it also is a double-edged sword, because you have some readers that manipulate it for their own reasons, especially if they are not really healed, or if they have their own hidden agenda, or if they are a part of the agenda, unbeknownst to them until they get caught up. Okay? So you also have to be mindful with the information that you're intaking. And I'm coming to that realization now listen to me now, after almost 3 years and watching a lot of videos, and not just tarot, but I'm speaking of all videos, but tarot mainly, because they are to be spiritual guides to lost spirits that are just trying to find their way. But some of them manipulate, you know, others' energy. And it's not for me to judge at all. I leave that up to God and our ancestors to do that. But when I recognized it, it was like, it kind of makes it difficult to even to watch them, or to not to watch them, but to believe anything and everything, which is normal, that's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to take everything with a grain of salt unless it's validated with yourself. But there are those high in the spiritual realm that know how to manipulate energy and get you to hear things that you wouldn't normally hear, and It's a little freaky. I experienced it. I'm not just talking out the side of my butt. No, I experienced it. And it was after they said it, and then that day it was like I was going for my walk as usual, and then I heard this, and it was like, okay, this was crazy. So it kind of makes you not trust again, but don't. What it's doing is building your confidence within yourself so you don't seek information outside yourself, that you actually dwell within yourself and trust that God will guide you and that your ancestors have your back and your front and your side to side. You are their investment. You are their investment. You are their investment. I've been still trying to figure some things out about religion too. I really have, but I have literally been nonstop since everything broke loose in my life, when the spirit world and this world collided for me. And I've been nonstop watching and listening and reading and writing and jotting down. And I've been doing a whole lot of everything. But now it is time for me to not seek information on the outside. Not saying it's a bad thing. It's not. It's not at all. But too much of anything can become negative. It can become a handicap. And I've spoken about this before. And because I'm still talking about it, you realize that's how I expose myself, in that it is a struggle. But it is a struggle. And it's because it's become a habit. And so now I have to fill this habit, and I don't have my normal distractions. And so I know that's just a sign for me not to have any distractions. And I don't mean like, bad distractions. I'm talking about like, I wish I had a coloring book and some like dope crayons or markers, or, you know, some, I love coloring. It's very therapeutic for me. And it's a way I meditate, but because I don't have it right now, I have to assume it's not meant for me to have it, and to find another way to occupy my time. And so, since I want to remove any outside sources, that just leaves me, right? So I'll tell you how it goes as it's going along. I think tomorrow is a good time for me to be quiet and to remain quiet for, you know, a certain amount of time. And to just speak when spoken to. I'm sure I'll probably be recording videos, but I'm not sure when I'll be, you know, posting. This is a healing journey. What part of the journey I am on? Acceptance. That's what it seems like, right? That's what it feels like. Not acceptance of where I'm at and this is where I will reside. No, 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 no. Acceptance that this is where I'm at, and instead of fighting the process, to accept it as it comes. And as I learn about myself, and as I learn about what I like and what I don't like, and what I want and what I don't want, and what I need and what I don't need, and what I will allow and what I won't allow, then I adjust myself accordingly. And sometimes the adjustments can be a little bit more difficult, and sometimes they can be as easy as pie. And we all know, if you've ever made a pie from scratch, pie is not easy. So that saying is misleading. But it's not misleading for those who have made a pie. So, that in itself is a lesson. I just thought about that. That just came to me. Because we say easy as pie all the time. But I've made plenty of pies, and pies are not easy. Especially if you're making them from scratch. And I'm talking about making the dough from scratch. And we know when people say easy as pie, it came from back in the day. Okay? At least 2, 3 generations. Even in our grandparents' generation, they was making pies from scratch. I don't know if Pillsbury had pie crust back then. I don't know. But my grandma made her pies from scratch. My mama's mama made her pies from scratch. I watched her. So that saying is very occultish. Very, if you know, you know. Okay. Anywho, my loves, I am accepting the good parts of me and the parts that I don't particularly care for about myself, but it's still a part of me. And during this journey, I always thought it was like an outside force, but maybe it was an inside force in helping me to reconcile the things I did as a child. And I don't know if I made amends for them as a child. I know I did apologize to my parents at some point when I was like 18 years old, 17 years old, because I recognized how my behavior would have appeared to them, you know? I was a handful. My mouth was a handful. So I'm taking another look at myself. And I know now what I will tolerate and what I won't tolerate. Not just about the people around me, but about myself. And so, because I'm still discovering what those triggers are, I can't say for certain what it is. Like, okay, I'm going to do this and this. No, so now this is part of me building my own foundation with God and my spiritual team at the helm, and with me and my intuition, and me just trying different things. That's the part of the journey. Remember when you was a kid? Remember when you was a kid and you just tried everything? And I remember being an adult and just trying everything and doing everything. But with a different kind of awareness comes a different kind of responsibility. And I know I'm coming from a place where, I don't want to make any costly mistakes, because costly mistakes almost cost me my life and my connection with Source, the Most High. So, but I know what I don't want. That's one thing. I know what I do not want. What I absolutely do not want. I know. And that's where you can begin. Figure out what you do not want. That list should be easy, but sometimes it's not. Because you have to experience some things in order to really realize what you do not want. And I thought I wanted to be married back when I was 25. And y'all, when I tell y'all, God looks after fools and babies. And at 25, I was both. At 25, I was both. Ooh, at 25, I was both. You couldn't tell me I was, though. I bought my house too. First in my family to do that. Oh, yeah. You couldn't tell me. On my way to graduating from college the second time. You couldn't tell me that I didn't know what I wanted. Are you kidding me? Bomb job, almost making six figures. You couldn't tell me I didn't know. But I didn't know. I was basing on the things that I had acquired that gave me the knowledge or gave me the feeling that I did know. But I didn't know. I didn't know what I didn't know until I realized I didn't know it. And I didn't realize I didn't know it until just now. You feel what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? I didn't know. I did not know. 6 months ago, I didn't even know. I'm sitting here with my eyes closed with the moon shining down on me. So I'm really just speaking from, I'm writing in my diary right now. I'm writing in my journal. Because I didn't know. But I'm so glad I didn't get released before it was time for me to be released. And I still don't know when it's going to be time. Y'all been sitting here listening to me talk for about 3 years now almost. Coming up. And every day I find something new. Today I find something new. I ain't going to tell y'all about it though. I wrote about it though. So one day I'll remember this date. Maybe I'll read it in my journal. But yeah, give yourself some time. Listen, I'm 3 years in, y'all. And I'm so glad I'm not doing this with a job, with other people to really look after because it's difficult looking after myself. I thought God picked the wrong person when almost it's like I be like, really? Me? That's how I feel. That's how I feel. Me? That's how I feel. Maybe that's how you feel too. Because that's how I feel. I'm just now admitting that to you guys, but I felt that way. I may have said it before in so many ways, and you could have picked up on that vibe. Like, they say God makes no mistakes, and I trust and believe that, but I still be like, me? I did admit that when I watched that video about that dude, and he had answered the question, and I was just sitting there crying, but I still had that question. But every time I had that question, it's like, okay, just keep going. No matter how I feel that day. And every day I don't feel 1,000%. I don't. But every day I try and do something new to show up for my new person, for my new self, for the person I'm striving to be. Some days it's easy and some weeks it's easy and some months it's easier, but sometimes it's not. And that's okay too. I used to didn't think it was okay. I used to think you have to barrel through it. You have to go, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. But if you keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, you're not feeling nothing. Because you're not sitting still. You feel something. But it ain't what you think. Don't get tied down though. And when the feeling comes to that, just trying to make you feel like you're tied down and you're tied down, don't allow it. Don't allow it to suck you into that abyss that you're tied, that you're bound, that there's no hope. That's not true. And every day you show up for yourself, it gets a little bit easier, and it gets a little bit easier, and it gets a little bit easier, and it gets a little bit easier until where it's just second nature. And right now we are in the growing phase. We're in the getting easier, 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 easier part every time we show up. Do a little bit at a time. I made a vow that I would do something new or do something different every day, whether that be change my routine up a little bit, whether that mean to cook a different recipe, whether that mean to take a different route on my walk, whatever it means, I show up for myself. I break up the monotony, because the matrix will have you believe that you are stuck, but you are not stuck. You have the power to get up out of your situation. But you have to believe, and I am learning to believe more and more in myself and not give my power away by having to second guess myself and seek outside sources to confirm what I already felt, what I already saw, what I already read, what God already intuitively guided me to do, but I still needed that extra. And that's okay, but I think now it's time to take the training wheels off, because that's what those are. Everybody always says, the greatest teachers always tell you that everything you need and require to do anything in this life to get you to wherever you want to do and to achieve and manifest your dreams and your goals is already within you. And I've heard that, and I've heard that all throughout YouTube, even though I incessantly watched video after video after video after video after video after video, religious videos, mathematical videos, spiritual religion videos, funny videos, musical videos. I've watched them all. But now it's time to see what I think and what I confirm without nobody else's opinions or energy, which means, seclusion on a different level. And that's when you only consume your own energy. You only consume your own energy. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Namaste, Ashe, Mazel Tov.